For last hour. Y'all are worn out.
I've been asked to speak on a couple of things. We can take questions.
Okay.
And to address what you just said, a tip for that is you can't ask a state agency to regulate federal. To correct what you're trying to do, you do the state office and let them know you're calling Washington. Washington is like the parents. The states are the grown siblings. The counties are the little babies. But asking state cannot hold federal monies accountable for anything. All of their programs dribble down from federal dollars. And Washington is aware, they just have never, FSA is the only agency in USDA that's been allowed to do whatever the devil they want to do and mainly discriminate. Nobody, if you look at all of these, ever since all these suits and settlements has been going on, nobody has been fired. 2001, I was at the Senate Ag hearing. Somebody asked, when you found all this discrimination, has anything happened? Who's been held accountable? They wanted to say it was 4 people, but they couldn't tell whether it was a receptionist at a front office somewhere, not related, nothing. So nobody has lost their job with the discrimination that we do, and I'll get to you, that we know of in my county. I've had an investigation, and that outreach thing is really a joke. The only thing that's going to make a difference is you guys have started dealing with Washington. The state outreach, I was locked out of a county office in Cass office with me and 2 of my farmers in adjoining county to me. We went in to see him, the NRCS guy and the FSA guy. Says, we're busy right now. Go ahead, lunch, and come back 45 minutes. Get back 45 minutes. Doors locked. United States Department of Agriculture office. Doors locked. Yellow note on the door. Closed. Farmer scared, co-worker looking. I'm like, they got to be in here. Still government time. Go around the building, whatever. Anyway, here in the kitchen stick. I made one do. But anyway, that was that. When the outreach report came out from the state office, those same 2 guys reported they had been servicing minorities, that they met with me and blah, blah, blah. Nothing ever happened. And what happened with me was my assistant state conservationist was an acquaintance and a black guy, and then the state con was also. Told them or whatever, but they just, because one was an NRCS guy and one was an FSA. Nothing happens, but if you want to address it, and the more that we address it, you have to go to the top. Stuff runs down here. So just let the state know, but then get at a national level. That's the only people who can recommend that state office. It has to be the federal government, not the state government. And then with that budget and with FSA and any of them, what they do with the money is everybody has their budget for the year. Fiscal year starts October 1st to September 30th. So around in July, any agencies or services or departments that have money left over, Washington asks for their money back, and they'll give it to a state who has people on a waiting list. So most of them try not to give it back, but some states do. And that for small farmers, limited resource farmers, there's a set aside. In this new farm bill, they just once again did a 5 or 10% set aside for beginning farmers and small farmers. So what that means, if I've got a $10 budget in my state, that means I've got to set $5 or $10 aside just for the beginning farmers or the small farmers. Now, if I don't give it to anybody, I can put it back in that pot come toward the end of the year or just before Washington says send all the extra monies back. So they have a twofold incentive. You know, they're not trying to do, despite all these rules, and it sounds good in every state, yes, has an outreach officer in every agency. FSA has a state outreach person, NRC has it, but it depends on the passion of the people, what they do. And plus it depends on the relationship you build. Once you guys start doing what you guys are doing or Jahari and them are doing, it's going to get easier and easier. Where you are today with them, you won't be in 2 or 3 years. Once they know you're here and you're forced to be reckoned with it, like she says, once you learn what you should do, then it'll be easier. They'll be glad because it makes them look good. You know, so that. And then I was asked to speak about credit. And I'm going to talk some about agency definitions, then we can go to questions. In order to get anything, their rules, you know, even at home, you got kids, they've got to follow their rules to get any service, you know. Get good grades, you might get a car, when you whatever it is, you know, I want you to be in the house before the street lights go, or whatever. And then life goes, because you're going to have to obey somebody. So even with all these programs, even with the discriminations that's there, things still happen. You still can benefit from United States Department of Agriculture. Plus, there's other foundations. I know Jahari's on a couple other national boards and stuff, and there's stuff out there. But we have to know what to do. We have to know the programs. We have to know when you go in. It's just like going to a bank. They're going to pull a credit gap. Most people, not most, but some people, me included, don't have now good credit, but I'm going to farm the rest of my life with FSA money. I'm not going to farm with mine. Anyway, because they've got enough. For my risk, they mitigate most of my risk. I'm not beating them out anything. I pay my bills. I make a profit, but I make a profit through the programs that they're allowing me to participate in. But I couldn't do that until I learned the rules. Now, when I first applied for an FSA loan or whatever, and my spiel was, you know, before my husband, that I'm through a divorce and I work and make good money, but I have bad credit. Right away, he says, well, we ain't gonna loan you nothing. We can't do that. Say, but you just said you, but anyway. So, but what I've learned is bad credit or low credit scores is not the end of the line. That's what the programs are made for. They have, the law actually requires before FSA gives you a loan, you have to be turned down at 2 banks. So it's set up for people with poor credit or literally right. They don't have to give it to you. You have to be, some of them will last and some of them won't. But, and if they're not, and plus when the first few limited resource people come into a county office and they start asking, they're going to really try to do you. Because they're not used to small farmers. They're comfortable. Even with your NRCS guys, in the 2007 Farm Bill, they took away that ranking system. Whereas the more acreage you had, the easier it was to get into your conservation plans. But they still do it in another form. A district conservationist, he'll get more props if he does 10 farmers with 500 acres, because he's getting more acreage in conservation plans. But in the county where there's small farmers, he might have to do 50. So that's 10 times the work for him. But by rules and regulation, they've taken out that ranking system. So by rules and regulations, they have a state outreach coordinator. They have to send in quarterly outreach reports. But I've just told you how they doctor the report with me, living proof. Nobody in Washington wanted to believe they closed off. They did, they still there. You know, but that's okay. We got our loan. So I don't care. You know, I used to tell my farmers, the first farm service agency guy I worked for, he was so mean and rude and he made me cry a lot of times. But I had a picture after one of our field days where he was in the field picking blueberries. And before he retired, I told him that we used to throw darts at your picture. We'd be mad, but I would tell everybody when you get that money, it don't make no difference how hard it was. It just, you know. But we have to know what to do. If they tell you that your credit is bad, you need to fix it anyway. Kids don't want bad grades, you know, whatever the circumstances is. It doesn't put you down. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It's just something that we need to work on. Now, if you go into an office today and ask for a loan, they don't say all your money has to be paid off. If they tell you no today, that doesn't mean you got to pay every bill. They require you to pay on. If you get 5 overdue bills or whatever, call those people. Start making arrangements. If you can't pay the $5 every month, they